Hello, I'm Rawn Clark, and I want to introduce you to the new Radiator. This is the third version of the Radiator since its beginning in 2007. That's the exterior. And here is the lid, the new lid, which inverts to become a stand. New mechanism is much more portable than in the past. It's not attached to a stand and a bit smaller. And here's the new mechanism. Here's a close-up of the mechanism. As you can see, it is, the form itself is called a truncated octahedron. And this gives me 10 sides for the Sephirotic crystals and 4 windows into the interior. On the inside, there is a sphere. And all of these double-terminated crystals that protrude touch that sphere in the center. And here is a close-up detail of the box itself. Now, each of these medallions represents one of the Sephirotic sides of the mechanism. And the order in which they're arrayed reflects the structure of both the Raw tree of life itself and of the distribution of the Sephirotic crystals around the Radiator, which I will explain more fully. The interior of the box is designed to accommodate the storage of several crystals. Get some more light on this here if I can. In each corner, a crystal can be placed, or a similar stone. The interior is felt-lined, and here is the stand where the mechanism rests when it's closed. So, not only is the mechanism itself portable, but when it's closed up in here, it will be able to charge crystals, which can then make the radiation even more portable. And here is the stand that the radiator mechanism resides in. It simply slots in as a spot. It's very self-evident. The distribution of the symbols around the outside of the radiator is reflected in the lid itself. And it goes in this sequence: Kether, Chokmah, Bina, Sephirot, Gedula. This is the top 5 Sephirot of the Raw tree, as well as the top 5 Sephirot on the mechanism. Okay. The bottom 5 Sephirot on the Gra tree are inverted in this, and we go in the opposite order. Malkuth, Hod, Netzach, Yesod, Geburah. And this is also the 5 Sephirot on the bottom of the mechanism. Okay? Now, this particular arrangement of the Sephirot and 2 interlacing pentagrams presents certain oppositions, certain opposites here. Let me see if I can get that. Kether is opposite Malkuth. Same on the mechanism. The top crystal is Kether, the bottom crystal is Malkuth. Chokmah is opposite diagonally from Hod. And this is also on the Gra tree. And Netzach is opposite diagonally from Bina. Now this is reflected in the mechanism. We have Chokmah opposite Hod. Bina opposite Netzach. Okay. We also have Geburah opposite Geburah. And this is where the top 5 split from the bottom 5 on the Gra tree. And it's also the Aleph crossing, which is the very center point of the Gra tree. And we have Tiferet opposite Yesod. And in this sense, if that's the dividing line of the tree, Tiferet is opposite Yesod. And this again is the pattern in the mechanism. We have Tiferet opposite Yesod. Okay. And Geburah opposite Geburah. So in a sense, the pattern on the box is a key to understanding the relationships of the Sephirot in the Gra tree and their function in the mechanism. Inside the walls, the floor, and the lid of the radiator box is a copper wire grid. It's a 1 centimeter square grid. And placed in the lid and in the center of the floor, there are pieces of really very fine turquoise. And the combination of the copper grid wiring and the turquoise guarantees that once the lid is closed, the radiator's inside, it's basically turned off. There is no seepage. It's all of the radiation of the radiator is contained inside the box, which of course makes it ideal for charging crystals in there. And this is how you turn the radiator on and off. You simply put it in its box and close the lid, and it's effectively turned off. When you want to use the radiator, of course, you open the lid, invert it, and pull out the radiator and put it on top, and then it simply radiates. The orientation for using a radiator is thus: the Tiferet side pointing east. Okay? When you have the Tiferet side pointing east, this is its tuning position. It's how it was oriented at the moment of its true birth. And this hooks it in, fires it up, and it's ready to go. Okay? In this way, what the radiator is doing, or will do when it's tuned, this is an untuned radiator at the moment, it's not really functioning. What it does is it radiates the cathodic brilliance. It generates and radiates the cathodic brilliance. This is its primary function. It is possible, however, to isolate specific Sephirotic crystals, and in this way, for example, irradiate just a Sephirotic force, or just a Chachma force, or just a Kether force. And this isolation can be accomplished in two basic ways. One is to cover all except for the one crystal you want to have radiate with a silk cloth. Very easily done. Just wrap a silk cloth around this. This will isolate just the Kether crystal, and this is the only radiation you would get. A far simpler way is to simply use the creative imagination and direct that to happen with your mind. This is the preferred method. You can isolate just single crystals or multiple crystals, do combinations. It can be a very versatile tool in that regard. The radiator, as with all the pieces I make, is constructed primarily of cardboard, just regular corrugated cardboard, that is then covered with a dense card and then painted with a combination of glue and acrylic paint. So it needs to be treated relatively gently. It is, however, quite sturdy. It should never receive any direct moisture at all. No water, no heavy steam, no fog. It can be cleaned with just a soft rag. That's all it needs is a dusting. It's best if it's kept draped in some sort of fabric to keep the dust off. So this is the 7th radiator that has been made. It corresponds with Yesod on the crop tree. And hence the silver and the purple interior decorations. But this is basically how the next radiators will look. I will make 3 more radiators. 10 is the maximum number that I will be able to make. Somebody else might make more if somebody else learns how to make them. So the next radiator will be the Netzach radiator, and then the Hod radiator after that, and finally the Malkuth radiator. They will all have the same design, slight variations in coloration. That's the new radiator.